Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Vrajajanarana, Yashodanandana Vrajajanarana, Yashodanandana Vrajajanarana, Yamunatira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanacharya Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabiyari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari. Hare Krishna. So today we are doing shlokas of chapter 30 from the 10th canto. Is my file visible? I've shared the file. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. So canto 10, chapter 30, verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Antarhite Bhagavati Sahasaiva Vrajangana Atapyam Stam Ajakshana Karinya Iva Yuthapam. Shukdev Goswami said, when Lord Krishna disappeared so suddenly, the gopis felt great sorrow at losing sight of him, like a group of female elephants who have lost their mate. Gatyanuragasmitavipramikshate Manoramalapaviharavipramay Akshiptachitta Pramadaramapades Tashta Vicheshta Jagarhus Tadatmika. As the cowherd women remembered Lord Krishna, their hearts were overwhelmed by his movements and loving smiles, his playful glances and enchanting talks, and by the many other pastimes he would enjoy with them. Thus absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, the Lord of Rama, the gopis began acting out his various transcendental pastimes. Gati smita prakshana bhashanadishu Priya Priyasya Pratiruddhamurte Asavahamaiti Apanashtadatmika Yavetishu Krishna Vihara Vibhrama. Because the beloved gopis were absorbed in thoughts of their beloved Krishna, their bodies imitated his way of moving and smiling, his way of beholding them, his speech, and his other distinctive features. Deeply immersed in thinking of him and maddened by remembering his pastimes, they declared to one another, I am Krishna. गायन्त्य उच्चैरमुमेव संहात् विचित्युरुन्मात्तकामाध्वनाध्वनम् पप्राचुराकाशवद्वन्तरं बहिः भूतेषु सन्तं पुरुषं वनस्पतिम्. Singing loudly of Krishna, they searched for him throughout the Vrindavan forest like a band of mad women. They even asked the trees about him, who, as the Supersoul, is present inside and outside of all created things, just like the sky. दृष्टो वा कचित्तस्वाथ पलक्षण्याक्रोधनामना नन्दशुनुर्गतो हत्वा प्रेमहासावलोकने. The gopis said, O Ashwatthadri, O Palaksha, O Nyagrodha, have you seen Krishna? That son of Nanda Maharaj has gone away after stealing our minds with his loving smiles and glances. Kachit Purabakashoka Naga Champaka Ramanujo Manihina Ito Darpa Harasmite. O Kurabaka tree, O Ashoka, O Naga, Punaga, and Champaka, as Balram's younger brother, who smiles, removes the audacity of all proud women, pass this way. Kachit tulasi kalyani Govinda charanatpriye Sahatvali kule viprat Krishtaste ti priyochate. O most kind Tulsi, to whom the feet of Govinda are so dear, have you seen that infallible one walk by, wearing you and encircled by swarms of bees? Malati adarshi va kachin, mallike jati yuthike, prapitam vojana yatha, karasparshena madhava. O Malati, O Malika, O Jati, O Yuthika, has Madhava gone by here, giving you pleasure with the touch of his hands? So we stop here today with the verses. Over to you, Shared Prabhu. Thank you so much for the same. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. These were the verses from 30th chapter, which will be taken up next weekend. Today, the balance verses of the 29th chapter will be discussed. But let us first recap what we learned yesterday in the chapter 29. Now at chapter 29, you see in the slide, we learned about verses 19 to 27. Krishna's arguments with the gopis, why they ought to go back to the village. Krishna, he sounded his flute. The gopis came running in whatever condition they were. And when they reached Krishna, now Krishna is telling them, you please go back. And he gives various reasons. Now we'll okay, we'll see what was the talk and how it went on. Now on this, first let us go through the comments of Sridhar Swami. What are the consequences of romantic relationships outside marriage? These gopis, as you know, they were thought to be married. They were not actually married. The gopas, they married the duplicates, the Chaya gopis only, which they also did not know. They realized at the end, as we have heard in the story in Gopal Champu. Now, Krishna, the question is, what are the consequences of romantic relationships outside marriage? That is, if somebody is married and still loves somebody else, that is parakiya. This is what is being taught, asked. What is the question? The slide is in front of you, but when you answer, please don't read the slide. give whatever you have understood after reading the slide.
Such relationship, they face severe consequences, and they are viewed as morally and spiritually detrimental.
Yes, that means this relationship, he is saying, since you are married and at the mid of the night you have come here, this will lead to severe consequences. And what will happen? You cannot go to the heaven, and your reputation will be ruined in the society, and you will spoil all your relationships with your husbands, with your in-laws, and all the relations. And this is what is going to be spiritually detrimental. And this is a cultural, this reflects the culture of the society. Therefore, you should be fidel and virtuous and not come here. That's why please go back to your homes. Now, the next question is, what is the nature of true love?
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Go ahead.
Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji, go ahead, please.
Yeah, okay. So this talks about the love and lust primarily. So love is only meant for spiritual Lord, and the lust is proximity and it's a mundane world. So it talks about that. So nature of world love means it's for Krishna, and in a material sense that love is a perverted reflection, as we talk always. That is basically lust meant for material world. That's what I understand, Prabhuji.
Yes, and we are talking of the love, which is the spiritual engagement, and how it is developed.
Through hearing
Through
and
hearing, hearing and chanting.
Hearing, seeing, and meditating on what you have seen, and also chanting about the names of Krishna, like the gopis. They used to always chant the Lord's various activities, the leelas, and that's how they were in association with Krishna all the times. And what else?
Meditation.
Yes.
All Navda Bhaktis, all qualities of Navda Bhakti develops through love.
And another very important point is physical proximity
Yeah.
or romantic engagement. It does not create transcendental love as in separation. Separation is very, very important. That's why you'll realize later on that the gopis, they were much, much more happier when Krishna was not there. When Krishna left the Rasa Leela, that in the next chapter we'll come to know, they were much happier than when they are in front of Krishna. Okay, the next question is, what are the indications of emotional turmoil of the gopis?
they had disturbed eyes due to the anger, showing emotional complexity of love. And then
Why they were angry? Because Krishna called them, he sounded the flute, they came, and now he is saying, you go back at the midst of the night. So they were disturbed totally and overcome with anger, and they were emotionally disbalanced because they had a desire to associate with Krishna, but now after coming, Krishna is suggesting you go back to your houses. Then the next question is, what is the value of devotion over physical pleasure? That is the point number 6.
प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा. स्पिरिचुअल वैल्यू ऑफ डिवोशन ओवर फिजिकल प्लेजर, मतलब जो हम डिवोशन करते हैं वो ज्यादा प्लेजर देते हैं, क्योंकि मटेरियल जो है वो क्षणिक होता है, तो वो कभी भी नष्ट हो सकता है, मगर जो हमारा डिवोशन है वो कभी भी समाप्त नहीं होता है, बढ़ता जाता है, बढ़ता जाता है, तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्लेजर मिलता जाता है उसमें.
Yes, like what Radha Vinod Prabhuji was saying, this what we see in the material world, that is not actually love, that is lust. And this is actually worthless, and it cannot be sustained for a long time. That's why this is of no use. Then in the slide it is given, this reinforces the notion that spiritual fulfillment through devotion is far more valuable than transient pleasures. What we get in the material world are the transient pleasures, but the gopis in association with the Supreme Lord, they were getting transcendental pleasure, which is everlasting. It doesn't have any other bad consequences. Okay, let us go on to the next slide. Okay, this is very important. These are the comments of Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami. Now, some important points. Krishna said that night is frightening. Night is frightening means they have come at the midst of the night. It is dark and the wild animals are there in the forest. That's why it is frightening. But what did he actually mean? What he wanted to say, that is the hidden meaning of this word, which actually the gopis also understood. What was it?
Krishna wanted to say that so that their gopis husband and children may not come there. So due to the fear of these wild animals, that's why.
Yes, that
Because
he meant to say that yes, the deadly creatures are there, and that is the reason your husband's fathers and other relations, they would not dare to come in the midst of the night. Therefore, it is the safest place, and this is the safest time for us to enjoy. He meant that. Then the next question in this, Krishna said that he would be embarrassed. What is the hidden meaning? What Krishna is trying to say? He is saying, if your family members they find that you have come and associated with me, and not only you,
Hare Krishna.
I will also be embarrassed. What is the hidden meaning?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think
Right.
he's trying to say that they don't need to be afraid, okay, in the any of the given situation, Prabhu, in this situation. Yeah.
Yes, yes. The
No need to worry about
No
the
need.
relatives
Yeah. No
and
need to worry about them. There is no need of afraid, okay, of them.
and
Okay.
he will be leading them to a secret location, a place
Yeah.
the other family members, the relatives, and others, they will not be able to see them, and they will be totally safe, and there is no question of getting embarrassed. That's what the Krishna meant. And the next question is, Krishna said that the gopis came to him out of affection. And what is the meaning of this? That is the verse 23.
He wants the gopis to enjoy with him and be relaxed without any worries.
He is basically telling them, relax and now enjoy with me because the safest place and it is the correct time. Your relations, husbands and others, they cannot come here. This is what he meant. Then the verses 21, 22, what he is saying, he is telling the gopis about the autumn night, the beautiful autumn night of Vrindavan forest. But still then he is telling them to return without any further delay. They should not stay there even a moment. They should go back to their houses. And what is the meaning the Krishna meant?
He says that Uddipana has to inflate the feelings. So don't go to the village. Let's start the romantic adventure begin. Yeah.
Yes.
That was the aim of he's saying.
Yes, this is the best place for romantic adventure. Let us begin it and don't go back. Now you see how Krishna, he always speaks indirectly, parokshabad. He never tells directly. If he says something, there is a hidden meaning. All these things are coming out. And let us go to next. What about dharma? What did Krishna mean by this?
He means to say that I am the more than your husband. I am your husband because I am the super soul. I am the highest, and I am the protector of the Vraja, and he is actually encouraging them indirectly.
Yes, for all of us, Krishna is the super soul. He is the highest Purusha. Therefore, one should associate with him and nobody else. This is what he meant. And the next question is, never abandon a husband. When Krishna is saying this, what is the meaning?
Meaning is that कि मेरे में सारी क्वालिटीज है, जो 6 क्वालिटीज, थर्ड ऐश्वर्य जो है मेरा, और मैं ही आपका इटर्नल हस्बैंड हूँ.
Like he is saying, I am the super soul, I am your husband. That's why don't abandon me. I have got all the qualities and I am your eternal husband. As we know, the gopis, they are the eternal wives of Lord Krishna. Now, whatever we see, whatever Leelas we see, finally, as we have seen in the other Shastras also, including Gopal Champu, there is no restriction, there is no sin committed by any of the gopis by associating with Krishna, because they are the eternal wives of Lord Krishna all the time. These are what are happening, these are for Leela purposes. Okay, let us go on to the next slide. In Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comments, what does Krishna say about the gopis gathering flowers? The gopis said, the wise
कि रात के टाइम में अगर फ्लावर्स लेने आए हो तो अभी ये परफेक्ट टाइम नहीं है कि रात में कोई फ्लावर नहीं हो सकता पिकअप करने, प्लक करने के लिए.
Yes.
Or it is invalid.
Yes. Any other point in this?
Krishna wanted gopis to be close with him. उन्होंने नहीं चाहा कि ये फ्लावर प्लक करते हैं तो मेरे से थोड़ा सा दूरी पर होएं.
Given the dangers of the night, Krishna, what he meant was, despite the beautiful surrounding of the autumn season, the safety is paramount. However, behind this, there was a desire for them to remain close to him, not go back to their houses. That's what he meant. Here, every time we are seeing that Krishna is telling something indirectly. Now, next, continuing with the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, what is meant by Krishna's questioning? Krishna questions the gopis about their presence at the dead of the night. What is the meaning of this? What are the dangers?
He's showing the dangers of the night, such as snakes and tigers, which makes the gathering inappropriate.
Inappropriate. But you remember, we have already learned in Vrindavana, these animals, they are not at all inimical. The tigers, they do not frighten even the deers. The snakes, they don't bite. Like this, all they stay in a very friendly environment. That is what it is. But still, Krishna is questioning them. And what is the gopis' justification? Why did the gopis wanted to stay there?
Gopis wanted to stay in group of other gopis, all group of all the gopis.
Why?
They wanted to do some gossip.
उन्हें कोई चिंता नहीं थी कि कोई हमारे बारे में क्या भी बोल सके, हमें कोई चिंता नहीं, वो सिर्फ जो भी करे वो हमें चिंता नहीं है, हम तो यहीं रहेंगे.
Yes,
Group में.
they have come.
Societal gossip, they are not worried about it.
Yes, they have come from home. They have taken a conscious decision. They are not concerned about their husbands or in-laws, and they want their honor. They wanted to stay there. And what was Krishna's concern for the family?
कृष्णा यहाँ पे कहते हैं कि आपको अपनी डोमेस्टिक ड्यूटीज को छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए, आपके परिवार की जो आपके उनके प्रति जो ड्यूटीज है उनको भी छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए, इनएप्रोप्रिएट है. तो वे सब बताते हैं कि आपको फैमिली को छोड़ के नहीं आना चाहिए.
They'll be worried.
बट एक तरह से वो जो है ड्यूअल टॉक करते हैं. वो चाहते भी हैं कि ये जाए नहीं, पर वो जैसे ऊपरी बाहरी तौर से वो कहते हैं कि आपको छोड़ के नहीं आना चाहिए, आपको अपनी फैमिली की चिंता करनी चाहिए. बट अदरवाइज कृष्णा डिड नॉट वांट दैट द गोपीज.
Basically, what he is telling them, you should
टेस्टिंग करते हैं, वो भगवान उनका टेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि रियल में वो चाहते हैं कि जाना चाहते हैं, मतलब भगवान उनका परीक्षा ले रहे हैं.
Yes, he is telling that in the Vedic scriptures, it is stipulated that they should look after their husbands, children, and the family members, and that's why, and they should fulfill their domestic duties. Now, this highlights the tension between personal desires and societal responsibilities. Personal desires, the gopis, they wanted to unite with Krishna, but society's responsibility, they should look after their families. Now the next question is, what about the beauty of the forest, the Vrindavan forest at night?
Moonlit night and animals, wider animals, all are unanimical, and the flowers, jasmine flower blooming there, and there were peaceful, calm and peaceful atmosphere, peaceful creature, and very enchanting atmosphere.
Peaceful creatures and enchanting
Actually,
atmosphere.
what happened? Krishna had created the correct atmosphere for the rasa dance. That's why everything was in position. The moonlit was there, the flowers were blooming, the scent of the flowers was coming near their nose. Then the breeze was blowing. All these things, all the Uddipanas were there. That's what is being described as beauty of the Vrindavan forest at that time. when Krishna called the gopis. Now the next question is, what is meant by challenge of returning home? What did the gopis would say, argue? This point
They
number
cannot.
6.
Gopis say that we cannot go to our houses
Why?
because
They
उनके
had
hus-
love for Krishna.
They have love for
But-
Krishna, they have come to meet Krishna, therefore they simply cannot return to their families, husbands, in-laws like this. And what Krishna emphasized on the duty?
The theme of dharma.
Okay. As we have already discussed, the importance of serving their relations, husbands, children, fulfilling their household duties, and these are given in the various scriptures. That's why they should follow them, and this will reinforce dharma.
there
Then,
should be balance between this divine love and that all these social obligations.
yes,
Full.
this is a must. And the next is, what about rejection of material attachments?
Gopis
Gopi-
said that we are go on Mataji.
ओके
Please.
मैडम गोपी जो है वो उनका इमोशनल और डिवोशन बहुत ही गहरा है कृष्ण के प्रति और तो वो उन्होंने कहा कि मैं हमें कोई भी चिंता नहीं है हम यहाँ पे आए हैं अब हम वापस नहीं जाएंगे क्योंकि दे हैव इंटेंस लव फॉर कृष्णा सो दे रिजेक्टेड द वो जाना नहीं चाहते थे
That means in front of them, the societal reputation, what the husband should say, what the relation should say, what the society would say, that was of no importance to them. Why? Because Krishna was more important to them above everything else.
प्रायोरिटी इज कृष्ण
Yes. And what was Krishna's final plea? Why Krishna was telling them to go back home? What was he trying to say
He's
or
care-
trying to indicate?
For the reputation of the family to take care. So you go back. Risk of society condemnation.
And what did the gopis' resolution?
their ultimate
They
aim
decide
is
to
to
serve.
serve Krishna but only they have that in mind we have to serve you so we can't go
Yes, they had come to serve Krishna because they loved Krishna. They wanted to give pleasure to Krishna. That's why, under no circumstances, they agreed to return. And this was their commitment to Lord Krishna.
They totally
essence
surrender
of
to Krishna.
bhakti essence of bhakti
This is the essence of bhakti. So, this is what we learned. And let us see the balance portion of chapter 29 now. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Charo Prabhuji, I have finished.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagna Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam साधवैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakala Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patita Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Jai Shri Prabhu. No, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaham. O most beneficent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisances unto you. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sangupangastra Parshadam Yagnahi Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the personality of Godhead, the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Nana Sastra Vicharnaika Nipunau Shadadharma Samsthapakau Lokanam Hitakarinau Tribhuvane Manyau Sharanyakarau Radha Krishna Padarvinda Bhajana Anandena Mattalikau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. I offer my respectful obeisances to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, named Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are honored, because they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All Krishna Prabhupada. Welcome back. So I'll share my screen with you. So yesterday, as Sharad Prabhuji reviewed, yesterday we did chapter 29, verses 19 to 27, where Krishna presented his argument why they should go back. Of course, his hidden meaning was quite different. In the inside, he really meant them to stay with him, and enjoy the Rasa dansa that he had planned. So today, what we are going to discuss today is the gopis' counter arguments. Of course, initial reaction was they were kind of completely let down by Krishna. So they were very much kind of disturbed, couldn't believe it that how could Krishna ask them to go back when he is the one who actually summoned them, So they were deeply disappointed. They couldn't believe it and all these things and finally they, put forward the counter arguments. So that will be discussed in verse 28 to 41. And then the final verses 42 to 48. So then Krishna and the gopis, they begin the rasa dance. And during the rasa dance, Krishna suddenly disappears, and noticing the pride developing among the gopis, that each gopis thought that Krishna is dancing with her alone, that there is something special, when Krishna saw that pride, he left. But later on, we learn the real reason was that Srimati Radharani first left, and Krishna wanted to follow her because Sri Radhe was also disturbed. Krishna's paying so much attention to the other gopis related to her. So that was the real reason that he left. But he accomplished two objectives why he disappeared. So let's begin with the gopis' counter arguments. So verse 28 to 41. So here, first the philosophical reflections that Sridhar Swami Maharaj gives. And from that philosophical reflections of those verses, then I developed some thematic highlights of that I share with you, So I'm doing it, all this thing for the past 2 weeks quite differently than what I should do before. So as you can see, as you can read, the point number 1, these verses are 19 through 27, seem to reflect themes of love, morality, and the consequences of one's actions, particularly in the context of relationships that actually we saw it yesterday. It conveys a message about the spiritual and worldly implications of intimate relationships outside of marriage. So that is called extra marital relationships on a physical level. That is very detrimental. Gopis gave up their husbands, homes, family members. They come middle of the night to see him, So outwardly he criticized them. That again we heard this thing yesterday. So Sridhar Swami Maharaj, he is recapping that thing. The importance of devotion to higher power. So related to that, what he was apparently criticizing, now gopis are going to point out that their love is totally on a different level than what he intended, what he was hinting about. So the imagery of nature, such as the moonlight, the gentle breeze, fragrant, because remember the jasmines were blossoming, lotus flowers were blossoming, and so on like that. Add a poetic quality to that, contrasting with what the situation that's going on in their heart. The Krishna really broke their heart, So there was tremendous agitation, turmoil of those human emotions that gopis were undergoing, So there is a contrast. There's a serenity in the atmosphere, the scenery, Vrindavan forest, beauty, and all this thing. And what Krishna created, something quite different here, So the speaker here is Sukadeva Goswami, of course. He's explaining this to Parikshit Maharaj. He appears to be advising the gopis. Actually, so the whole thing is narrated by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, but he is saying what Krishna is saying to the gopis, and appears to be advising the gopis, encouraging them to reconsider their choices, and return to a more virtuous path. Actually, that was the thing what's going on. Actually, what he's saying, that I am the true, your eternal husband, and your everything, your responsibility, everything lies towards me. That's what he actually meant. But the gopis didn't get that. The idea that true love and satisfaction come from devotion rather than earthly attachments is the central theme that we are seeing here. That's showcasing the tension between spiritual and worldly desires. So here again, it come across as material desires, but in reality, the gopis have all spiritual desires. They wanted to serve for Krishna's pleasure. That's what the reason they came here. So the warning about the potential consequences of their actions serves as a reminder of the importance of making wise choices in life. Again, yesterday I was telling you, there are multiple audiences there. Here we are hearing this thing, the message to we, the ordinary people. If we are going to imitate this thing, then we face dire consequences. So overall, this expert encapsulate a rich blend of philosophical reflection and poetic expression, urging the characters to seek a deeper, more fulfilling connection beyond mere physical attraction. Of course, there is physical attraction is there. Krishna is all beauty, the supreme beauty, but at the same time, Krishna was taking them in a much higher transcendental platform. Okay? So now we see here from these comments, verse, what I've taken, what I've schemed, all the thematic highlights, and then I expand the meaning of this based on those verses. Okay. So Sridhar Swami Maharaj comments, overall, the passages serve as a rich exploration of love, morality, and the pursuit of spiritual fulfillment, urging individuals to consider the deeper implications of their desires and choices. So throughout, we are seeing a relative side-by-side comparison, what is happening in the material level versus spiritual level. You don't forget, the gopis and Krishna's relationship for each other is completely on a transcendental platform. But if you try to see what is going on at the surface, seemingly it is taking on a material plane, but it's not. So one is to constantly think about it. So dual messages are coming up here. So there are 7 themes that I detected here. So we'll go one by one. First, the consequences of romantic relationship, especially Parakya Bhav. Okay, but Parakya Bhav here is on a transcendental plane when Krishna is doing this thing. The passage highlights those relationships, particularly those outside of marriage, can lead to severe consequences. The mention of being barred from heaven, so you suffer in this material world, and then of course you also suffer because you don't go the higher plane. Okay, the mention of being barred from heaven, so you don't go to the upper planetary systems like Swargaloka and so on like that, and ruin the reputation suggests that such relationships are viewed as morally and spiritually detrimental. So this reflects a cultural and religious perspective that prioritizes fidelity and its virtue. The text emphasizes that authentic love arises from spiritual engagement through hearing. So it's again Navada Bhakti stress. Now all these things here, they are kind of going repetitiously that we discussed yesterday, you know. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go the comments of basically this we have already discussed. Why I'm going this again. Okay, let me. So that's why I was wondering why I'm repeating myself. So let me just. Check my slide. The second segment of it. Yeah, now it's coming. So now the Gopi's response that we are going to get it, okay? We are going to hear about that. So this is lesson 64, 65, verse 28 to 41. So we already discussed yesterday. So now the Gopis going to counteract, but initially they are in shock. Okay, the way Krishna showed such indifference, apparently Krishna is asking them to go back. And just we repeated those comments that Sridhar Swami Maharaj, that how Krishna was arguing in a material plane. This is there are severe consequences one has to face. Okay, so now it's Gopi's turn now, but initially the acharyas are explaining how terrible shock they are undergoing now. Okay, so they couldn't speak even. Speak for several reasons. First, there's a shyness is there. Okay. Second, there's a hidden anger is there towards Krishna. All this and the pain in their heart, because of all these things, they first couldn't speak. You know, they had to collect themselves up. So here, first we'll see the Gopis' counter arguments. So there are 10 highlights, thematic highlights are there. And in this slide, the first 5 that I'm showing you. And again, this is Sridhar Swami Maharaj comments first. And then I will talk about the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comments, which are in much more deep and very extensive. And that is what we are going to learn a lot more about it. You know? But Sridhar Swami Maharaj comments here, okay? So these verses collectively illustrate a complex emotional landscape where love, duty, and devotion intertwine. All these things are combined.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you are not sharing the screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me go back. Sorry about that.
In between, suddenly it got stopped, Prabhu, actually.
Okay. That's
Maybe
good.
just 5 minutes back.
Good you pointed out to me.
Yeah, we can see Prabhuji now.
Okay, good. Let me expand full screen showing. Okay, now you see this slide?
Yes.
So these verses collectively illustrate a complex emotional landscape. The gopis are undergoing tremendous pain and showing up their actions. They couldn't speak. The tears are rolling from the eyes, and with their toes, they are scratching the surface of the earth. You know, they couldn't, out of shyness, anger, frustrations, the way Krishna treated them, it's kind of disbelief, and all these things were going on, So there were tremendous waves of emotions going all over in their heart, So that is from that the acharyas are making some comments on that, So all this third thing intertwining, emphasizing the gopis' struggle. They're trying to compose themselves before they can respond to Krishna's argument, So there'll be counter argument. Their ultimate allegiance to Krishna as the embodiment of divine love. They all came for Krishna only, and now Krishna is apparently sending them back. So there's the emotional turmoil. There's the first thematic highlight that I came up with that from the Acharya's comments, okay? Emotional turmoil of the gopis. The gopis are depicted in a state of deep sorrow and longing for Krishna. The imagery of imagery means from their actions and their body language that acharyas are making comments. So multiple emotional turmoil is going on in their heart. And how that is apparent, lowering their head, they couldn't see Krishna eye to eye, tears are rolling from eyes, and so the lips are getting dry, suggest a profound sense of defeat and heartache. This is what happens when you're emotionally so much disturbed, your lips are getting dry. This reflects their emotional state. And as they feel rejected by Krishna, the object of their love. So what is physical things are showing up. That's what acharyas are very, very carefully noticing each of the verses. So the act of scratching the ground with their big toes, that's what happens actually, women particularly, when they are very much disturbed, and when they couldn't speak to their husband, that's what happened. They're scratching the ground with their toes, And while they're crying, the saffron paste, which tears illustrate their inner turmoil, that also going there. Their physical manifestations symbolize their helplessness and the pain of unreciprocated love. Krishna did not return their sacrifice, their love, everything, But that was apparent. Later on, Krishna is going to tell them that I owe you everything. What you did for me, I can never ever pay back, That later on we are going to see that, But right now, gopis are undergoing that kind of emotional, tremendous, seismic pain in their heart. I couldn't believe it, So also signifies their devotion now marred by sorrow. So there's a conflict between love and dharma. Now Krishna injected what is the dharma, okay? But now they are going to show that their ultimate dharma is toward Krishna, and that is what Krishna actually intended it in a hidden way. But Krishna, the gopis did not see that, did not get that point, So now they are themselves going to point out the difference between their worldly duties and their deep love for Krishna. And love is not for getting a kind of a conjugal relationship. Basically, they want to serve Krishna as Krishna desires. For Krishna's purpose, to giving enjoyment to Krishna, that is what for their game, That is what they're going to point out. The gopis challenge Krishna's teaching on dharma, duty, and how they are going to show that. Okay, that's what very interesting to see. So they question how someone who embodies the principle of dharma could reject them, could reject them. It is Krishna who established the dharmic principles. Okay, so they are questioning Krishna. You are the one who said that the supreme love is for the supreme Lord, and you are our supreme Lord. thereby highlighting a tension between their emotional desires and societal expectations. Now remember, it was the Chaya Gopi, shadow gopis who were married, but nonetheless the real gopis, their mental frame, they were made to, by Yogamaya, they were made to realize that they were already married to the Gopas, even though really not there, but they didn't know about that Yogamaya had already created doubles, So they were in that kind of mental frame that they were married. So this conflict underscores the complexity of their devotion, where love transcends conventional moral codes. So turmoil is like that. The nature of the divine love. Now this is what you need to pay attention. So this love, what they have, it's very high level, which is not there on earthly plane. The gopis assert that Krishna, while positioned as a teacher of dharma, he is supposedly the one who established dharmic principles, right? So he's going, and now they're going to point out the dharma. Actual dharma is what is their ultimate dharma that I was telling you yesterday. The ultimate parodharma is serving Krishna for his pleasure. Is also the ultimate embodiment of love and the soul. Okay. So that parodharma, that Bhagavatam verse, first canto, second chapter, I think sixth verse or something like sixth verse, if I'm not mistaken, that says that it's the parodharma. When you do it, then that gives the ultimate satisfaction to the soul. Their proclamation that whatever must be done to all friends and relatives should actually be done only to you. They say that. And when we serve Krishna, all other swadharmas are already taken care of. Emphasizes that their devotion to Krishna surpasses all other relationship. That is what yesterday I was pointing out to you. Reflecting a deep spiritual connection. So they are pointing out what is the parodharma. That's what actually, and paradharma was established by Krishna himself. So longing, the fifth point, the longing for Krishna's affection. That is what they had. The gopis express their inability to return home. That they severed all relationship on the material plane with their so-called husbands. They were not really their husbands, but they were made to believe by Yogamaya that they were married to them. Actually, it was their shadow gopis who were residing with the Gopas. So stating that you stole our hearts and took control of everything else too. This illustrates the overwhelming power of Krishna's charm and presence, indicating that their love for him consumes their thoughts and actions. So Krishna had stolen their heart. Everything was taken away by Krishna. Their very self, Atmanivedanam, this very self that they offered to Krishna. Nothing more was left, making everyday life unbearable without him. Now, the themes 6 through 10. Sixth theme, the power of Krishna's smiles and glances. That is what they were attracted to him so much. And that is irresistible. No women in the entire universe can resist that. Even the demigods with their husbands, devas, that they were flying up in the sky, even the goddesses were attracted when they saw this Rasalila was going on, and the husband knew that, and still they didn't mind that. So they refer to the nectar of your lips and melodious tune, the way is flute music, suggesting that Krishna's beauty and charm have a profoundly intoxicating effect on them. No woman can resist that. This metaphor, so that's what gopis are pointing out to them. No metaphor illustrates the idea that divine love can be both delightful and destructive as their passion leads to emotional suffering. Now, here it might be a little difficult for you to understand that because it's delightful and destructive. Delightful is Krishna's attractive features, of course, but destructive in the sense they were so disturbed by his beauty and charm that they completely lost themselves. Okay, and now Krishna created this Vipralamba that we are going to see in a few moments. That is also going to be very destructive. So this is as their passion leads to emotional suffering. So there are multiple opposite kind of emotions going on in their heart. Rejection of conventional relationship. The gopis acknowledge their husbands. So they said that, yes, we left our husbands. Again, I'm saying that was Yogamaya's influence. Mentally, they were in that kind of situation, but in a real sense, they were not married to those gopas. So the gopas acknowledge their husbands, but state that they find them insignificant in comparison to their love for Krishna. Nobody can come close. Even in Bhagavatam, later on, we're going to see in 10th canto, Rukmini, actually, when she writes a letter to Krishna to please come and kidnap her because her father and her brother Rukmini, they were forcing her to marry with Shishupal. So that's where Rukmini is pointing out that all these earthly husbands means nothing. That they are mortal souls. Ultimately, Krishna is the supreme, and he is eternal on a transcendental plane. So that husband, that kind of husband, a woman would dream of getting that. That's what Rukmini had appealed to Krishna in that letter that she wrote to Krishna. That we'll see later on. So this highlights to intense devotional level that they feel devotion, suggesting that their spiritual connection with Krishna elevates him above all worldly attachments. The super excellence of Krishna's lotus feet. So now here what Acharya is saying, what gopis meant here, not for a conjugal relationship themselves, but they really wanted to serve Krishna. And see here pointing out Krishna's lotus feet. So that's in a devotional platform. They were there in that side. Okay. The passage praises the dust of his lotus feet, which symbolizes humility on their part, and the highest form of devotion. Nobody can love the way the gopis did for Krishna. Nobody can do that. And the embodiment of that kind of supreme love and sacrifice is, of course, Sri Radhe. The gopis expresses a desire for this dust. That is what they came for, that to serve his lotus feet, indicating that they recognize Krishna's divine nature and the importance of serving him above all everything else. So you see that? Clearly pointing out the transcendental plane, these gopis were there. And they all came with the service attitude towards Krishna. So the point number 9, the contrast between divine and mundane. So that's again, the gopis are going to point out that the gopis draw a distinction between their devotion to Krishna and their societal norms. That's on a mundane plane. What Krishna has pointed out, their duties toward husband, family, all the society and everything, that's still on a mundane plane, but they are way, way above that. So mundane plane is insignificant. How divine figure could adhere strictly to the dharma when love compels them to act otherwise? That their love was supreme. That transcendental plane and it was for Krishna, their eternal husband. This reflects the notion that spiritual love can surpass earthly ethical consideration. Again, in Mahabharata war, throughout we are learning that lesson, right? Krishna told Yudhishthira to lie. Dharova Kunjarva, right? On a material logic and ethics, that's wrong. Yudhishthira had never spoken lie, but Krishna forced him there for a higher reason. Okay. Same way I told you yesterday about Karna. Karna was killed like that. He was he was trying to get the wheel of his chariot out from the mud, and at that time Krishna ordered Arjuna to shoot a deadly arrow to him, cut off his head. Same way, Bhishma Pitama, who was killed also in a very different way, which on a material plane seemed like unfair for a Kshatriya to kill like that. Because Bhishma Pitama would never raise his weapons against a woman. And Shikhandi was actually a woman, but given a man's form, just apparent. And Bhishma Pitama knew that, Shikhandi. So Shikhandi was placed right in front of Arjuna, So the Arjuna was protected by the way that Krishna's arrangement. And so Bhishma Pitama was killed like that. Same with Dronacharya. Dronacharya was made to believe there is some Ashwatthama dead, but actually the Ashwatthama named elephant was killed, And so he gave up all the weapons, everything. He went in the Samadhi, deep trance. At that time, Drishtadyumna, he was the Senapati of the Pandavas army, who chopped off his head while he was in deep trance. So all these warriors were earthly standard were unfairly killed, But there was a higher purpose. Krishna wanted to install Yudhishthira Maharaj as the emperor. So, and that's why in Bhagavad Gita, towards the very end, Sanjaya says that ultimately morality, ethics, everything, what is defined by Krishna, that is the ultimate thing. Okay? The last point, the 10th point, the transformative nature of divine presence, how it transforms one's very being when you are coming onto this divine presence. That's Krishna. Ultimately, the Gopis conclude that the experience of hearing Krishna's flute or witnessing his presence is enough to alter one's moral compass. When Krishna asks you to come to him in bhakti platform, then that's it. It's that supreme order. Everything else is secondary. This indicates the transformative power of the divine love, suggesting that engaging with the divine can lead one to transcend traditional values. That's exactly Yudhishthira Maharaj did that. He followed Krishna's order. Arjuna followed Krishna's order. Okay? They couldn't understand why this thing is happening, but nonetheless they followed Krishna's order. So this is what actually we should learn from that. Ultimately, the ultimate responsibility, ultimate our service is towards Krishna. Okay. So now, as I told you, now onwards, we'll focus on Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comment. His comments are very deep, very extensive. So first, the overall comments. So these verses, now we are talking about verses 28 to 41, exactly the Gopis' counter arguments. But we are going to hear from the perspective of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and very, very deep and extensive. So these verses provide a deep and intricate look into the emotional turmoil of the Gopis that we have been talking about. Okay? We already heard Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Swami Maharaj comments. the gopis in the relationship with Krishna. Here's the key points in the themes focusing on the gopis' counter arguments, which reflect a complex interplay of love, devotion, and the struggle, psychological struggle that was going on in the heart and the mind against societal norms, showcasing the depth of their feelings for Krishna. Their dialogue illustrates the challenge of reconciling deep spiritual love with the expectation of the world around them. So there's a conflicting emotions going on, conflicting duties are there, you know. So the first thematic point is the dejection and doubt. Again, that we saw in Sridhar Swami Maharaj's comments too. Okay. So the gopis express feeling of dejection and doubt regarding Krishna's affection, and they feel neglected despite the profound love and sacrifice they made on account of Krishna. And Krishna apparently did not reciprocate their supreme love. So they were very much dejected. Pain was going on in their heart. And I told you that the tears are rolling from their eyes, washing off their mascara and everything, you know, questioning their worthiness, shame and remorse. The shame is depicted through physical manifestations, such as lowering the head. They couldn't see eye to eye with Krishna. Anger was there, and uneasiness. That's why with the toes they're scratching the earth. So that is showing reflecting the internal conflict that's going on in their heart. They grapple with the tension between their love for Krishna and the societal expectation imposed on them. Krishna imposed them on that. You know? Of course, it's just for a surface only. Krishna didn't mean it that way. Third point, intense love and suffering. This part of such supreme love. There's always pain is there. Suffering is always there. The gopis' love is portrayed as both overwhelming and painful. They experience a longing for Krishna that leads to emotional suffering, illustrated through their tears and expression of despair. Arguments against Krishna's words. What Krishna said, apparently, now they are going to point out the real counter arguments. Okay, the gopis challenge Krishna's harsh words, tearing up their heart, arguing that the deep love should be reciprocated rather than dismissed, as Krishna showed this indifference. They assert that their devotion transcends material desires, emphasizing their commitment to Him and Him alone. Point number 5, challenges to Krishna's role. This is a little difficult to understand, but hear out. They question Krishna's authority. He is the supreme authority, nonetheless. The way Krishna presented himself in a harsh way, that was kind of unfair, you know. That's what they're pointing out. Authority and morality, pointing out discrepancies in his teachings about duty in relation to their love. See that? Krishna himself laid down that he is the supreme. Ultimately, we owe our vitality, our supreme love is only for him. They argue that true devotion should be honored rather than cast aside. Desire for divine connection. So again, this particular argument is harping out at every step that their sacrifice for his sake, their divine love is on transcendental platform. Constantly we are seeing almost every verse. Gopis express an unwavering desire for closeness to Krishna, hoping to serve him even the humblest capacity. See their humility. They recognize his divine qualities, Krishna's divine qualities. That's what they were attracted to him. Of course, there's a physical beauty also is there, Krishna. But that Krishna's physical beauty is akin on a transcendental platform. They recognize his divine qualities and seek a deeper relationship that transcends ordinary connections. And now the metaphorical language. Metaphorical means giving some analogies. The arguments are rich in metaphor, drawing comparisons to nature and divine qualities. This not only enhances the emotional weight of their words, but also illustrates their understanding of Krishna's transcendental nature. So just as Krishna's, there's a transcendental nature is there, so they are pointing out that their love is also on a transcendental platform. It's not on a physical platform at all. And that's what you ought to see that. That's what they're pointing out. The desire for mercy. So finally, their humility, everything they said that they were, that nothing wrong coming here, you know. And you summoned us and we are here to serve you, you know. But then finally, they are begging for his mercy actually, you know, desire for mercy. Ultimately, the gopis plead for Krishna's mercy. But please be merciful, you know, hoping that he will recognize their pure love and respond to their yearning. They believe that even without explicit cause, his compassion should extend to him, to them, unconditional compassion. And they deserve that, richly deserve that. So finally, they are pleading for that, you know. So overall, you can see that. If you summarize in few sentences, first and foremost, the deepest love. For his sake, they gave up their family, every connections, everything. And how much pain on his account they were undergoing. And Krishna did not reciprocate that. Okay, all these things. And their love, they are pointing out that Krishna should see is beyond material plane. Krishna was pointing out on a material level comparison with their duties towards husband, society, and all kind of things. That's on a material plane. But their love is on a transcendental platform. That they are very clearly pointing out. And that was his own teachings, Krishna's own teachings. Okay, so now we are going, so that is up to Gopi's counter argument that they have done. Now we are going towards the very end of this chapter 29, text 42 to 48, last few verses, okay? Now, Krishna heard all these things, okay? So this passage reflects a deep, this is from Sridhar Swami Maharaj. This passage reflects a deep exploration of themes such as desire, playful interaction, and the dynamics of power and control within relationship. Again, this is the concluding verses I'm pointing out to you, okay? And the dynamics of power and control within relationship. The imagery of physical gestures like stretching arms and touching hands suggests intimacy and flirtation atmosphere, highlighting how these actions can evoke feelings of joy and pleasure. So now Krishna is going to be happy with them. He's going to begin rasa dance with the gopis, okay? Keshava, of course, it's that Krishna, as described, embodies a dual nature. He's both a source of attraction and a figure of authority. The reference to controlling Brahma and Shiva, in fact, that word Keshava, that's exactly it means, that he is superior to both Shiva and Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma both. Keshava word is there. The reference to controlling Brahma and Shiva indicates a significant cosmic power. There is Guna avatars, suggesting that even the highest deities are influenced by its playful yet commanding presence. This interplay between lightheartedness and dominance can be seen as a metaphor for the complexities of human emotions and relationships, where actions can coexist with pride and self-awareness. So now, again, that was a philosophical way of explaining Sridhar Swami Maharaj's comments. Now, from that, I'm giving you some key highlights of his comments to this concluding verses 42 to 48. So overall, these thematic key points collectively create a rich complexity of the ideas that invite deeper contemplation on the nature of relationships, power, desire, and the complexities of human emotions. Each element interacts with others, reflecting the multifaceted nature of existence and connection. So now we are going to see here the summation of that so far what took place. So desire and intimacy. The actions describe stretching arms, touching hands, and so like all physical things. Okay, that we heard in Sridhar Swami Maharaj's comments, everything like that. So playfulness and joy, the playful nature of the interactions, indeed by joking, laughter, light-hearted teasing. This is what Krishna does there. So emphasizes the importance of joy in relationship. The theme suggests that relationships thrive on moments, on fun and levity. So Krishna can be serious at the same time. He's very joyful also. That's the way he's so charming, which can create a vibrant atmosphere. The ability to produce pleasure through humor and playful exchanges highlights how the joy can be a transformative force in human connections. Power dynamics. The passage touches on the theme of power, particularly the authority that Keshava holds over Brahma and Shiva. This reflects the complex nature of relationships, where power can shift and manifest in various forms. Keshava's ability to control even the most powerful deities suggests that authority is not solely about domination, but can also be about influence and charm. So all this thing is going to make sense just in a moment, okay? When we hear Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comments. So remaining points of Sridhar Swami of this concluding verse. Pride and self-conceit. The mention of self-conceit and overwhelming pride introduces a theme of ego and personal identity. Keshava's ability to induce pleasure while embodying pride suggests a duality in personality, one that balances self-confidence with the ability to connect with others. This theme encourages reflection on how pride can impact relationships, sometimes fostering attraction, while at other times creating barriers to genuine connection. Independence and fortune, cosmic order and control. So let's bypass that and get to the Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comments now beginning, and that's going to make a whole lot sense. So first, a philosophical overview. Text 42. Krishna's smile. So everything heard, Krishna hearing what he said himself. Of course, he heard Gopi's counter arguments also, and he understood the Gopi's ultimate sacrifice for him. Everything he understood that. Okay, so now he is going to come. going to smile and really welcomes them. And now he's going to set up the Rasa Leela, you know. So Krishna's smile and words, so that gives a relief to Gopi's heart. Krishna's smile and words reflect a playful yet profound understanding of the Gopis' emotions, illustrating how he curbs their pride while simultaneously expressing his own desires. So he dances, but again he's going to disappear in the middle of the dance. Again he's going to cause that same pain. But again he wants to have this Vipralamba to strengthen their love and to kill that false pride they had in their heart, you know, that Krishna is all theirs, you know. So his ability to enjoy with them without expanding himself physically highlights. So see that again, these things, notice that. Here our Acharya is pointed out very clearly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, his ability to enjoy with them without expanding himself. So that the common description that we heard before, it's a misconception. Krishna did not multiply in rasa dance. He was moving so swiftly all across so many gopis, billions of gopis, that it seemed like he expanded in multiple forms, but actually he was just swiftly moving around. So like a still frames on a movie things on a film, when you rotate that fast movement, then it gives the motion is created, you know. So that's exactly just like when you dance on Kaliya's boards. That's exactly what happened. You know, he was dancing so rapidly that Kaliya could not even control. So here also, see, point out that Krishna did not multiply himself in multiple frames. He just moved around so fast. So that point is making very clear about that. Verse 43 continues to emphasize Krishna's magnanimity and infallibility. His other name is Achyuta, infallible, as he grants pleasure to the gopis and liberates those who hear his pastimes. So this is a Shruti Phala. One who hears these pastimes, Rasalila pastimes, what you get out of it, and one who describes that. The subsequent verses depict a lyrical exchange between Krishna and the gopis, filled with poetic imagery and mutual admiration, further enhancing the atmosphere of love and devotion. As the narrative progresses to verses 45 to 48, the final four verses, the themes of separation and pride emerge both. So Krishna is going to begin his rasa dance, okay, and he's dancing with each and every gopi very swiftly all around. So as if each gopi is feeling that Krishna is dancing with her all alone by herself. So they thought that they are special to Krishna. So that was a pride. So the pride wanted to curb, Krishna wanted to curb, she disappears. So again causing separation. So next week we are going to hear how suddenly gopis realizing again they are going to put into deep pain of separation, and they are going all over the forest asking trees, creepers, deer, have you seen Krishna, where is he? Like that. So same kind of pain of separation is going to begin. So Krishna's disappearance serves to rectify the gopis' pride. Rectify the pride means Krishna wanted them to curb that pride. False pride should not be there. Krishna does not belong to one person, one gopi only. He belongs to everyone. And to particularly address Radha's feelings. So for the sake of Radha, he actually left. So he's coming here. He's going to come again when gopis find their footprints. This act is portrayed as a necessary adjustment to maintain the harmony of the rasa dance, where each gopi's experience is intimately connected to the others. The divine play of Krishna, facilitated by his Yogamaya potency, underscores the depth of his relationship with the gopis, revealing layers of emotional complexity and spiritual significance. Overall, these verses encapsulate the presence of divine love, the interplay of emotions, and the transcendental nature of Krishna's pastimes, inviting readers to reflect on the profound lessons of humility, devotion, and the intricacies of relationship. Okay, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, now some key highlights. So here, these highlights encapsulate the depth of Krishna's relationship with the gopis, illustrating themes of love, humility, and joy of interaction, and the significance of divine play. The narrative invites contemplation on the nature of devotion and the complexity of emotional bonds and the context of spirituality. So Krishna's playful magnanimity is coming out in verse 42. Krishna smiles and playfully addresses the gopis, acknowledge their obstinacy. He expresses that while he exhibits a bit of pride, it is rooted in his magnanimity. This highlights Krishna's playful nature and his ability to engage with the gopis while also teaching them humility. So by his own example, he's setting that. Okay? He himself is very humble himself, and by that he's teaching gopis also that. The nature of divine love, the gopis are described as manifestations of Krishna's internal pleasure potency, Hladini Shakti. This emphasizes that their love is not just personal, but a reflection of divine love. So his love is also at the close to divinity. Krishna's unique ability, Krishna is identified as Achyuta, infallible, because he can individually enjoy with countless gopis without needing to expand his form. See, again, this point is coming out again and again. Krishna did not expand himself in multiple forms. This underscores his divine nature, his opulence, mastery over mysticism, further illustrating the concept of divine omnipresence. Point number 4, lyrical exchange. The gopis engage in musical exchange with Krishna, highlighting their devotion and creativity. Their songs express admiration, affection, showcasing the joy and dynamic interaction in their relationship. This exchange enhances the atmosphere of love and companionship. Emotional complexity. Now, this is also interesting. Krishna's interaction leads to feeling of pride among the gopis, particularly Sri Radhe. This appearance serves, her disappearance serves to curb this pride and restore balance. So Sri Radhe also disappears first when she, because of her mana, she could not bear Krishna paying so much attention to the other gopis, So Krishna is going after Radhe and disappears. So that was the dominant reason why he left. This act reflects the theme of separation with Pralamba. Later on, he leaves Radha also, that we'll see. Because Sri Radhe said that I'm tired, please lift me up. So he said, sure, fine. But as soon as Radhe gets there, he disappears. So Sri Radhe also puts in the Vipralamba, portraying how love can intensify through moments of absence. So only in Vipralamba, only in separation, the true value of meeting is appreciated. Yogamaya's role. Krishna's pastimes are facilitated by his Yogamaya potency, which allows for miraculous transformations and experience. All this thing is going on because of Yogamaya. She coordinates everything. The ability to create vast private pleasure grows, demonstrate the divine nature of Krishna's interaction with the gopis, rectifying the pride. Krishna's discipline is a purposeful act to address the gopis' pride. So, as I was explaining, right? Name Madan Mohana. Madana Mohana. That's Madan Mohan. He just cannot accept anybody developing a false pride. Krishna's discipline is a purposeful act to address the gopis' pride and specifically to favor Sri Radhe. This highlights his understanding of emotions and the need for humility in love. That's another good lesson for us. That devotion itself creates the humility in the heart of the devotee. Okay, without humility, the devotional service is not complete. Emphasizing the importance of balance in relationship. Okay, so that takes care of all the comments and everything. And now we have plenty of time for discussion. Hare Krishna. So it's open for discussion. Any questions, comments? So some of the comments were so redundant. That's why I went in a hurry past like that. The Acharya, some of the comments were kind of repetitive nature. Yes, Rajiv Prabhuji, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you so
Dhanavad
much,
Pranam.
Prabhu. So wonderful class
you.
and so much immersed in this. That's what I can realize that one why Srila Prabhupada not jump into the straight away into the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is
Yes.
a great meaning is that it is not a ordinary condition souls like me to understand all these stuffs. So much is there when you acharyas, when you go through all these stuffs. Even the gopis arguments also so much what do you call it is defending Krishna. It is not like that I can just accept it. They are also very intelligent. They are defending, hey, this is what you are the supreme, hey, this is what so
and
that
your
is
teaching,
what,
your own teachings, they are pointing out your own teachings.
Correct. So that's what
and repeatedly they are pointing out that love is on a transcendental plane. They are repeatedly pointing out that
Correct.
what Krishna was saying apparently in the beginning that you should go back to your duties towards your husband and all these things, but that's on a material plane. They are pointing out that their love is on not that level.
Correct.
It's not like a young girl and young boy meeting like that. They didn't come for that purpose. They came to serve him.
Correct.
Pointing out
Yes.
that they wanted to serve your lotus feet.
Correct. And another
So that's
point,
that changed the mind of Krishna.
Correct. And another point, Prabhu, yesterday you made another very important point, Krishna's teaching. But yesterday I not got a chance to speak because of his time.
Yeah.
So when you say Vapu Seva and Vani Seva, Krishna clearly mentioned, our Acharya do mention this one.
Yes.
So we have a conception that, we have a spiritual master, we are not able to serve him. We have conception like this. So Krishna directly speaking, hey, Vapu Seva, Vani Seva is more important than the Vapu Seva. That is the one important yesterday. He himself is saying. So
physical
that is.
Proximity, he pointed out himself.
Correct.
Physical proximity is not important.
Yes. Bro.
You just remember the past times we had together, and you'll feel my presence.
Yes.
And
I mean, it applies to spiritual master.
You're absolutely right. My Guru Maharaj also used to say the same thing.
Yes.
Because we all used to miss him, because remember, he has thousands of disciples and he keeps, the sannyasis keep traveling all around. They cannot, they don't have a time to even reply.
Correct.
Letters,
Yes, Prabhu. I mean, that is what, most
but if
of
you
us.
Follow if you follow their teachings, that itself brings the proximity to them.
Yes. And that itself brings us, Prabhu. And secondly, it gives a realization also. The spiritual masters are in a transcendental level.
Yes,
they definitely they will come some or other, they will come and give the answer through some of the other devotees, or in the some, if you are really hankering for their association, they will come in the dream or something like that. That is what we feel it, Prabhu. So that's what I was relating,
Thank
Krishna
you for
himself
pointing
is,
out. So
yes,
you follow the instructions, that's where the meeting is there.
correct, Prabhu. So we feel that our spiritual master, he's there. We are not thinking that he's on a transcendental level. We do think that, oh, he's also human. He's also he's there. He's Mayapur
Yeah.
there. He's there, but not here. We feel that one as a condition. So we don't have a faith that he's in transcendental platform. That is what we are missing.
Prabhuji, I salute you. Really,
No,
you
no,
understood the point perfectly well.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji. I'm so
Hare
glad.
Krishna, Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
Radha Vida,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Yeah, so nicely. It's a time. We need time to digest because a lot of words are there. You said that
It's a philosophical
It's
things are there.
correct. Yeah. So
The
Prabhuji,
philosophical depth is there. Yes, go ahead.
yes, philosophical depth is. So when we talk of rasa, because again we saw rasa is a manifestation of sattvic and bhav and so many complex combination you gave. While
This
discussing.
is one of the reasons why we reviewed.
Yeah,
Visual
we
Nilamani.
reviewed. Right. Now, when you take to Madhurya Rasa, I think it, man and other thing comes, it fits perfectly well. When we talk about other rasas, for example, say what's difficult to understand is Shanta Rasa. How this can be, but it's called a rasa. It's not just Shanta, but it's the rasa. We can understand Madhurya very well, maybe difficult to understand Dasya and Sakhya also. Maybe Vatsalya little bit we can connect with that. But Shanta, I really blow over the head. It doesn't get me. How we can understand that?
Santarasa it's a rasa in the neutrality. And this Santarasa, in this kind of interaction Krishna has with gopis and the gopas and the Vatsalya, these are predominant. Santarasa is not taking place here, but the other stages, all this, they serve him in Santarasa. Now for this the four Kumaras.
Kumaraja.
So they are also in the Santarasa. Santarasa means they do not have intimate relationship that way, devotion, right? But they serve through the mental way. That is called Santarasa.
But they are not attached, right? But they are not attached, right? They are not attached with so the rasa comes only when
it's on for Kumaras are serving him in the jnana point of view, right? So on a jnana level, it is a Shantarasa. You understand that way,
But Sukadev Goswami is also jnana platform, so he is also Shantarasa.
No, he was before Atmarama. He was before like that. But when Vyasadeva tricked him, and through his disciples, and then he came to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and the words he heard, that particular key words that we made him repeat, that words changed him completely, and they then came to devotional platform. So
but also that is a difficult.
Then Sukadeva Goswami is in the Dasya Rasa, serving in the Dasya Rasa. Dasya Rasa is also important rasa. The same way, these four Kumaras, they were in Shanta Rasa before. But remember when they cursed this Jaya and Vijaya, and when Krishna heard, Lord Vishnu heard that, immediately kept running to prevent further damage to his associates. So without shoes and everything, he came running like that. So when he came from distant, the Tulsi Dala, they were there, the aroma touched the nostrils of these four Kumaras, and then they came to devotional platform in the special rasa, in the Dasya Rasa they came. So first on the Jnana platform, they came to there. So then Jnana Bhakti Jnana Mishra Bhakti till they come to pure Bhakti, the 4 Kumaras. When you direct association through the aroma of the Tulsi Dala from the lotus feet of the Lord, that's changed everything. So Shantarasa is why, that's why the lowest platform. Whereas as you go higher and higher level, the intimacy increases. From Santarasa, come to Dasyarasa, Sakyarasa, Vatsalyarasa, and then ultimately Madhurya, the topmost level. Because that's Madhurya is the highest intimacy between Krishna and the gopis are there.
Yeah.
So, but again, you have to develop adhikara for that. Everybody cannot jump. See, like that. You cannot. Hindi में किसे तुम नहीं कहते, आप कहते ना, in respectful way. But when you develop a closeness with your close friend, you don't say aap, tum. So closeness comes. You have to have a proper kind of deeper relationship with the Supreme Lord. So then Krishna himself becomes subordinate to their fellows, like Gopas. In they play sports games, when Krishna deliberately loses, so Krishna had to carry Gopas on his shoulder, and the Gopas would demand that. That's called intimacy. So that kind of rasa, higher rasa, the higher and higher rasa, there's a hierarchy about this rasa. The Shanta rasa is the lowest one on that platform.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Any other point?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Thank you so much for so wonderful class. Dandavat pranam. प्रभुजी, यहाँ पे हम एक समझ सकते हैं कि भगवान जो लीला करते हैं उसका अनुकरण नहीं करना चाहिए, अनुसरण करना, भगवान जो कहते हैं वो करना चाहिए, उनकी जो इंस्ट्रक्शन है वो वी हैव टू फॉलो, अदरवाइज वी हैव टू फेस द सीवियर कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. कोई भी लीला का, भगवान की लीला का कोई अनुकरण नहीं कर सकते,
उसको समझना मुश्किल है, बहुत समझना मुश्किल है. So best way is to serve him and just follow his directions. That is what the proximity is there in following the relationship, following all the instructions, their teachings. If you absorb that, that is the best way to serve our spiritual master and thereby the Supreme Lord himself also. And we should not demand that he would give darshan. When he feels right, he himself will decide when to give darshan. And darshan can come not necessarily physical level, in so many other ways his darshan come. His empowerment comes. More and more you focus in serving him, everything, whatever the abilities that we have been endowed with, and that abilities and skills that you develop, you use it for his purpose, then you'll feel closeness with the Lord. You'll feel that. Because Krishna, because of his potency, Yogamaya potency, he immediately makes himself available to us. And in so many different varieties of ways, he can come closer to us.
मुझे वैसे भी नाम और नामी में कोई फर्क नहीं है. There is no difference. So हम हर रोज नाम लेते तो हमारे साथ ही रहते हैं, ऐसा समझ सकते हैं हम.
Yeah, that's what our Acharya said, that the name is more than he himself, because all his potencies, everything is he has put in his holy name.
प्रभु जी, इसमें हम देख सकते हैं कि गोपियां कितनी वेल नॉलेजेबल, सब उनका फुल ऑफ नॉलेज है.
They did not go to anything like that. They still had that because of the association, direct association with Krishna. They developed all these things. Bhakti gives jnana and vairagya both automatically. You don't necessarily have to endeavor independently for that. Bhakti itself gives that. That's our acharyas explained that. Yeah. Anybody else? So everybody must be tired now. Actually, so am I. Okay, so if there are no questions, then we'll close the conclude the class early today, so we can all have rest. Are there any questions? Further questions? If none,
प्रभु जी, शरद प्रभु जी वो स्टोरी कह सकते हैं? साक्षी गोपाल आपको सुननी है ना?
बगैर वो उनके कुछ काम था ना, वो चले गए ना शरद प्रभु जी।
अच्छा
वो
ओके
he sent me an email that sent me a message that he has something to attend, you know. And
okay, no problem.
And Sanjeev Prabhuji, his mother is not well. I think she's in hospital, you know. So Sanjeev Prabhu is also not there because of that. Okay, so we all.
प्रभु जी, next week 38th chapter शुरू होगा ना प्रभु जी?
हाँ जी.
तो 15 और 16 को 30th chapter.
Yeah, that particular weekend we'll do lesson 30. Chapter 30, both day 1 and day 2. Okay.
तो प्रभु जी तो गोपी की तो
उसके बाद का the weekend that is following, that is when we'll do Gopi Gita. But will you be able to come by that time?
Yes, Prabhuji, I am going 15, 16, 17.
So that's fine. Then you will not miss that. So you'll be not missing that, and I would get the pleasure to hear the Gopi Gita from you.
Yes, Prabhuji, my pleasure.
Others also going to do it, but you know, I particularly I asked you because you are so fond of doing that, you know, and you are so good at it.
मैं डेली रिसाइटमेंट करती हूँ ना, इसलिए हर रोज करती हूँ.
You're doing daily, that's why you remember by heart.
बाय हार्ट करती हूँ प्रभु जी. मैंने संकल्प लिया है कि वेणु गीत मैं कर रही हूँ, अभी बाय हार्ट करती हूँ.
So that discussion I'm specially preparing for that. Okay. The discussion that you're going to hear.
Next week नहीं है ना प्रभु जी?
No, next
अगले week.
Following week. So these are only 19
verses. This is the mercy of Lord.
Only 19 verses are there. So much has been written about those 19 verses. So it'll take 2 days just to cover 19 verses. So
this is also mercy, Prabhuji.
We'll discuss at a very great, much deeper level. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sure.
Hare Krishna. So you won't miss, and I'm glad that by that.
प्रभुजी मुझे इतना पेन हो रहा था कि मैं मिस कर दूंगी ये, मगर भगवान की कृपा देखिए.
भगवान की देखो, ये भगवान की अरेंजमेंट है ना.
हाँ सच्ची, really, I'm so happy.
That's the reason. And I wanted to hear from you myself.
Sure, Prabhuji. I will do my best, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
But I am doing the Narasimha prayers.
Yeah, please.
हरे कृष्णा भाई जी, एक चीज मेरे को पूछना आपसे.
हाँ जी बोलिए बहन जी, बोलिए.
वो आप एकादशी का वो रखते हैं ना इस्कॉन के अकॉर्डिंग, जिस दिन इस्कॉन, तो आप उसमें इस्कॉन का, जैसे मैं भी रखती हूँ इस्कॉन के अकॉर्डिंग, तो उसमें वो पारण का जैसे कल.
आपके पास इस्कॉन कैलेंडर है आपके पास?
नहीं है अभी, इस साल नहीं है, लास्ट ईयर था.
No, it should be there on the net also. You can find it out, you know.
हाँ, मैं वो मुझे उसमें वो ट्रिक पंचांग में मैं देख लेती हूँ.
आपके टोरंटो का लिए स्पेशल उसमें होगा,
उसमें है.
That will tell you exactly timings, everything, you know.
वो एक्चुअली वो उसमें आ जाता है कि कौन सी डेट का है, उसमें खाली डेट का है. गूगल में जाके मैं देखती हूँ, लेकिन उसमें पारण का टाइम नहीं होता. जैसे बाकी जगह ये जो इंडिया में जैसे परसों है, अब कल अमला एकादशी, कल कनाडा में कल है 9th को, और
यहाँ भी तो कल है, कल हम लोग के लिए भी कल है.
लेकिन इंडिया में जो है वो इंडिया में परसों है. तो उसमें वो क्या है, वहाँ जो इंडिया का बेसिस तो उसमें आ जाता है यूट्यूब में, तो उसमें पारण टाइम भी आ जाता है, स्टार्टिंग टाइम, एवरीथिंग उसमें आ जाता है. लेकिन इस्कॉन का टाइम, पारण टाइम नहीं कहीं पता चलता. तो आप पारण टाइम कहाँ से देखते हैं?
मुझे पता नहीं, ये हमारे, मैं तो आई एम फॉलोइंग द लोकल टेंपल, यू नो. सो आपके वो जो माता जी है ना,
ललिता माता जी को पूछ लीजिए ना. माता जी ललिता
उनको पता होगा, यू नो.
ओके 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 ठीक, यस यस यस।
तो मदर आपको क्या चाहिए? मेरे सामने है वो, अभी क्या चाहिए कैलेंडर में
Oh,
से?
Abhi,
वो
so you're also from Toronto, right?
या
Ravi,
आई
are you
गो,
from-
बट उसने ब्रेक टाइम दिया है ना, कल का दिया हुआ, कल तो ये एकादशी है, नेक्स्ट डे तो दिया हुआ है, टाइम दिया हुआ है, कब ब्रेक करना है उतना ही दिया।
पारण, हाँ जी, ब्रेक का टाइम मुझे नहीं मिलता कहीं।
हाँ उसमें लिखा हुआ है, कैलेंडर में लिखा हुआ है, उसमें 7:30 to 11:31 लिखा है ना,
ओके
7:38।
अच्छा, ओके, यू आर हैविंग कैलेंडर, आई एम नॉट
Yeah.
हैविंग, मेरे पास
So,
कैलेंडर
next-
नहीं है।
Radha Vinay Prabhu is
Monday
also
का,
from Toronto.
या मंडे का 7:30 है, 7:30 to 11:30 है, टाइम दिया हुआ है।
हाँ ओके ओके, थैंक यू प्रभु जी, थैंक यू।
Okay, Raksha Mata
हाँ
ji?
प्रभु जी,
Yeah,
हाँ प्रभु जी, हरे बोल।
go ahead.
श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो।
Jai.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, प्रह्लादलाददायिने, प्रह्लादलाददायिने, हिरण्यकाशिपूर्वक्षः, हिरण्यकाशिपूर्वक्षः, शीलटङ्कानखालाये, शीलटङ्कानखालाये, इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह, इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह, यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह, यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह, बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह, बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह, नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये, तव करकमलवरे नाथा अद्भुत श्रृंगार, दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गां, केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय हो नरसिंहदेव, 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव, जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय हो, भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय हो, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो, सर्व डिवोटी की जय हो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। दंडवत प्रणाम to all devotees.
Thank you, Raksha.
Prabhuji, next
Thank
week,
you very much.
next Saturday, Gaura Purnima.
Oh, wonderful.
Chaitanya
That's
Mahaprabhu
great.
की जय हो।
Jai. So, Raksha Mata ji, I double check class schedule. Gopi Git will be doing 22 ને 23 માર્ચ છે ને, ત્યારે એ વીકેન્ડ છે ને એમાં કરવાના છે.
Okay, I'm so happy, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you
Hare
everyone.
Okay,
Thank you
you.
so
Hare
much.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram
Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
Happy Ekadashi to all tomorrow.
Thank you. Same to you too. Thank you.
सेम टू यू माता जी, सबको हैप्पी एकादशी। हरे कृष्णा भाई जी,
Same to you, Mataji.
Hare
सो
Bol.
मच।
Thank you, Prabhuji.